ticks, and the cattle graze. And I am proud as anyone to say that I am from Russell, Kansas, which, yes, is the home of Bob. Now, some say that's a backwards place, but I make it a point to say Russell, Kansas was an amazing place to grow up. It's about 400 miles west, just off I-70 in between Hays and Salina, Kansas. If you blink, you will miss it. But growing up there, it's a very small town, and it really allowed for a lot of opportunities. I was raised there in a beautiful home with my parents and my sister. My mom, who is actually still a para for grade school, she has a SNCC for children. She is amazing, but her flexibility really allowed for her to be home and be with us. So to run us all over for all of our activities and be home and have those home cooked meals, which I desperately miss. My dad was the superintendent. And I do believe he had some psychic abilities, which he will not admit to this day, but he seemed to know what we were thinking and planning before we even know what we were thinking and planning. And so that was a very interesting concept being in school, because I had those teachers who were, ooh, that's superintendent's daughters, we gotta be on our best behavior, so those are like, whatever, we're gonna put them through the grind. So it was very interesting, but also very rewarding. My younger sister, Jess, who I'm sure you will all have an opportunity to meet, because I will be very surprised if she doesn't join this club very soon, because I can't talk enough about it. She's my biggest supporter. She's my best friend and my partner in crime. We're 2 years apart, but I can honestly tell you, I can count on one hand how many times we've ever fought. And people ask what our secret is, we simply tell them we just don't have time to fight. So we were just each other's biggest support. Growing up in a small town, home of Bob Dole, really promoted me to kind of try out my political career. So my senior year in high school was really my first experience to public speaking, where I prepared a speech. I got up in front of the student body, which is 300 people, which is a lot for me, and just was like, rah, rah, me, vote for me. These are all the things that we're gonna do, and it's gonna be great. And then we had the great debate against my opponent, which is a lot less intimidating than what you guys see on TV. But it was really exciting. It was a great experience. I learned a lot from that. Also being in a small town, being able to try a bunch of different sports, my athletic abilities, which ultimately rewarded me a full ride scholarship to Barton County Community College, where I danced with the national dance team in '98, and I also played softball. Here at Barton County is where I actually had my second experience with public speaking when I ran for office for vice president. And I have a little clip note here that says I was elected by my peers in both campaigns. So it brings me to where I moved to Kansas City. Having the support of my family and friends was just overwhelming. I mean, my upbringing in Russell just really propelled me to want something bigger. So I ended up in Kansas City about 17 years ago. And I fell really right into my career path and into my passion, which was working with people and trying to find them homes in a multifamily industry. So I started in leasing, where I would show the apartment homes and make the deals, and I loved it, get to interact. And then I went on to management, which that was very rewarding and interesting to kind of see that little bit aside. But then I went on to corporate management. But it wasn't about till 3.5 years ago when I started working for Resource Residential, where I found my true passion, and that is working with people on really building their developmental skills, as far as getting them to that level of where they want to be. Maybe that's through sales, customer service, communication, team building, whatever it may be. But I love what I do. I joke often and say that I study human behavior for a living, and I truly believe that. Because I really have to have that knack for understanding people, but I think it's really rewarded me. It's the ultimate gift is being a mother. And I have 2 beautiful daughters. Chandler, who's 13, and for any of you that have a teenager know, that's like 21. And Avery, who will be turning 7 in 2 weeks. And they are just the most amazing, energetic girls. They challenge me every single day just to be a better person. And I'm just so grateful. And when I'm not running them all over the place for cheerleading or for swimming, basketball, I'm literally being pulled physically by our rescue lab, who is just over 100 pounds, and I can't seem to get him to not pull. And people ask me often, well, have you thought about training? I am a trainer. If I can't get this dog to not pull, then we have bigger problems. So, still working on that. Which brings me to why I joined Toastmasters, is to really tap into all of your expertise. I would say this is the very first time, other than in high school and in college, that I have written out a speech, what I was going to say. And it was, when I was writing this out, I was like, this is silly. I'm writing about myself. I know what I'm going to say. But in preparing for this, I was like, wow, this is really, trying to stay on cue and trying to stay on point and really be able to deliver that message in a logical sequence to where it makes sense, and hopefully it's remembered. So thank you for letting me share, and that's where I come from.